Good morning. Getting the day started after that long day yesterday. 29 miles in case you missed the video. 6 summits. Over 6,300 in elevation. It was a day. Basically going over Roan Mountain and the Highlands. And whew, had to do it because it was basically freezing temperatures with wind chill and without, pretty darn close. So, getting on the trail again today. Gonna be a little warmer today. Probably not as many miles, but pushing through, seeing where the day brings us. So just a recap on yesterday's video, yesterday's day. In case you haven't seen it or seen it and just don't remember, it was an epic day. It was the hardest thing I think I've ever done in my life. And last year I did Mount St. Helens and Mount Whitney. Mount St. Helens, believe it or not, being 6,000 feet less in elevation, was actually tougher than Mount Whitney to me. Each their own, obviously. Everybody has a different level of what's tough to them. But yesterday just pushed the limits in so many ways. Most extreme cold I've been in, up to 70-mile-per-hour winds at times, which literally was knocking me over, not being able to stand up straight. Huge, thick ice up on top of a lot of the summits. Fell down several times. Snow that ended up being like 12 inches deep at times. And there's the Roan Highlands, Roan Mountain and the Highlands. I needed to get through that whole range because I couldn't really camp. It was just too bitter cold. That would have been dangerous. As long as I kept moving, it at least kept me a little warmer. And my clothes did an awesome job of keeping me warm. Beard was frozen the whole time. Achy, my hip was hurting, my back obviously hurts pretty much all the time, but some days are worse than others, and it was hurting pretty good at the end. By the time I got done, it was like 29 miles, well over 6,000 of elevation, 14 hours of moving time. Yeah, like, I don't know, 6,000 plus in calories, which is, that doesn't even take into account the heavy feet every time you're lifting, because you're lifting through snow, and it's like walking on a beach. So it was a great day, a great conquering day, but it was tough, for sure. It was tough. And I want to use this as a reminder that I am doing this year, raising awareness for osteoporosis, as I was diagnosed with that last year, and I hope to inspire. So any of those out there to, have osteoporosis, or the beginning stages of it, or osteopenia, I think it's called, where your numbers aren't quite osteoporosis, but you do have bone loss. So watch that video if you haven't. It definitely, I hope, will inspire and motivate, because it's definitely not over for you. Get out there and, exercise. The best exercise you can do for bone strength and building bone up, besides taking the calcium, vitamin D, and blah, blah, blah. I'm not a doctor, so obviously listen to your doctor, but the natural stuff and what your body does by being in nature, and just the heavy lifting. Put a small backpack on your back, 5 pounds if 2 pounds, whatever. Weight bearing exercise is the best thing you can do for bone strength and building bone strength and density back up. So we'll be talking about this a lot, obviously, over the Thru-Hike, but I thought this was a great time to talk about that. And if you haven't yet, or even if you have, please consider donating on my GoFundMe page or Cash App. Both of those links are in the video description on each video. A percentage of that goes to the International Osteoporosis Foundation, but it also helps me out here with resupply cost when I have to stay in a hostel or a hotel or a motel. I'm very minimal. I live life out here as minimally as I can, frugally, if you will. But there's still cost involved, just like there would be if you're living in society. You still have to eat, still have to lodge yourself sometimes. have to take care of broken gear and so forth. So please consider that. You're helping a good cause. I mean, you're obviously helping me out, but you're also helping out the Osteoporosis Foundation and spreading the word and helping people that have this crippling disease. So I hope I inspire you. This is a journey I do for myself. Obviously, it's like a spiritual journey for myself, and I love pushing myself and conquering these mountains. But also at the end of the day, I want to inspire and motivate and also show people the trail that might never get to see it. So a lot of different reasons I do this, but this year I definitely am doing this in part, let's put it that way, to raise awareness to this awfully crippling disease that, you know, we can help slow down in the early stages. So if you know anyone who suffers from osteoporosis, have them watch the channel, have them subscribe. Your friends, let them all know. The more you let know, the more this word gets out, and I would love this word to spread all throughout the world, you know, raising awareness for this disease. Okay, I'm going to quit talking about that now. I'm going to get back to climbing. Sunny's out. Oh my goodness. The sun's out today. No snow. Falling at least. There's still a little snow on the ground. I'm still kind of low in elevation. Pretty much getting to 4,000 a day tops. So it shouldn't be a whole lot of snow. It's going to get up into 40s, almost 50 today. So should be a really great day for hiking. Way up there is where I came down from yesterday. And I don't know if you can see it, but over here more. Basically all the snowy parts. Kind of came through there, down here, and then down this mountain, down to the road, and then across the road at 19E. And that brings me to over here. Stopped and had a breakfast this morning at the bed and breakfast on 19E. It was phenomenal. They make a great breakfast. I got in real late, probably like 10:30. Slept up in the hostel so I could take a hot shower last night. And I'm back on the trail this morning. Oh, I almost forgot. Last night as I was descending the mountain coming down from the highlands, and it was dark, and I came across a sign that said leaving North Carolina. I didn't want to get my hopes up then, because obviously over the last 250 miles or so, I don't remember the exact amount, it's basically been riding the border. So 1 minute you're in North Carolina, 1 minute you're in Tennessee. You just keep alternating back and forth. So I asked the hostel owners last night, the bed and breakfast owners, or not last night, but I asked them this morning at breakfast, and because they're local and they would know. And sure enough, that is the end of North Carolina. It is all Tennessee for the next 70, 75 miles or so up to the Virginia border. So ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great happiness to say North Carolina is in the bag. So we go this way. Little bit of elevation. It started off the day, but nothing like it normally is when you come to a road or a gap. A lot of times you have a 2,000 or 3,000 foot climb right off the bat, and this was close to 1,000. I think it might have been like 800 or so. Just one big spurt, not too bad at all. Kind of cruisy besides that. As you can see, this is kind of flat, dips down a little bit here and there, goes up a little bit here and there. Getting close to 4,000, high threes, I think, in elevation. So there's a little bit more snow here, but nothing like it was last night. You know, even at this elevation on the other mountain coming down from the highlands, I mean, you still had 3-4 inches of snow everywhere. Here, you could tell it's really starting to melt on the trail itself, and then out here, you know, maybe an inch or two in places, but it's definitely melting. I think it'll be, for the most part, in, you know, 4,000 below, probably pretty much melted today, or at least tomorrow. I think it's supposed to be up in the 60s, so won't have to deal with too much snow. Yesterday was enough for me. I mean, here and there I'm going to have to deal with it. Sometimes it's a little slippery and slushy, like right here, probably an area where the sun doesn't get to very much. You can see it's a little thicker, but it's not bad at all, and I'll take this any day after. You know, I keep saying, like, how bad it was yesterday. It wasn't bad. It was the cold temp and the wind that made it the worst, and obviously the ice. But it was absolutely stinking beautiful. I mean, it was like I was walking in a winter wonderland, you know, sometimes sun, sometimes just, you know, coming down hard, and then other times, you know, the real dark, eerie look behind it in the clouds and everything else. So it was just an absolutely stunning, beautiful day that really pushed me to the limits, because it was just a lot of hard work. But that makes the reward even greater when you have to push yourself that hard and then you conquer it, and you've conquered six summits in one day. That feels stinking good. And then you get to put North Carolina in the bag. That feels stinking good. So all in all, pushed myself to the limits, but it felt great. Not going to push myself to those limits quite as much today, but still going to get some good miles today. The elevation ain't anywhere near what it was yesterday, and I probably won't do anywhere near those miles, but you never know. You never know what I'm going to do. But for now, I'm just enjoying this sun beating down on me. Not real warm yet, but getting there. Getting warmer, I should say. At least above 10. But that's kind of the outlay of the land right now. Going up and down a little bit here and there. There's supposed to be a really nice waterfall up here, so I can't wait to see that. And of course, I'll show it to you. Wow, that's amazing. Looking at all that I came over yesterday. And now I'm here. Wow. So the highlands was from the south that I crossed yesterday, and this is towards where I'm going now. Totally different look. Still snow up there, but not as much. Don't know if I'm going over those or around them. Not really sure exactly yet. I think that's more east, and I'm going kind of northeast, but sure is beautiful. Getting some great views here in this open, wide space. So you got that over there, and this is where I'm walking up right now. And that's the highlands I went through yesterday. Woo! Here's a cemetery right to the side of the trail. Just this fence here separates. Trail goes up here. First time I've seen that, I've seen a couple headstones here and there. First time I've seen a cemetery up here, though. I wonder how they get the headstones up here. There must be a road close to, or something. Seems like that would be a heavy haul up with a wagon or whatnot, or in a backpack. But I wonder how recent some of these are. They look like newer headstones, so they must be somewhat recent. But that's something different there. I just love the way that so much of this is wide open right now. Like walking through meadows, part of it's in the forest, and you come out in this wide open area like this. get to see so many better views this way. Even if they are just over top of trees like that, it's cool to see it. Get to feel that sun on your face. Just totally different terrain, almost like walking in a meadow or something. I love it. Hey there, guess what? I just crossed the 400-mile mark. Ow! Unfortunately, it's snow covered. Sometimes they have markers down like in stone or something to show the spot, but I wouldn't be able to see it if it was here. And a lot of times I miss them anyway. But it shows on the map at what mile I'm at, and I just crossed the 400.0 mile marker. I love those every 100-mile countdowns, even though I still have about 1,800 to go. 400 in is quite a feat, and I'm loving it, and I'm still pressing on stronger and stronger every day. Baby, guess what? I'm 400 miles closer to you. I'm coming home soon. Here's a side trail to Jones Falls. Oh, I don't mind if I do. Let's go check it out. All right, that's pretty epic. You can see the frozen snow and ice. Huge icicles up there on the top part. Oh yeah, that's gorgeous. Big old creek or river down there. Probably have to cross that at some point, I would think. Maybe not. I guess I was wrong. Just came from down here. Probably at least a half a mile, just walked right along that river. Thought I would cross it eventually. I didn't really look at the map, but it goes off that way and the trail comes up here, going up this hill. So I was wrong. I can admit when I'm wrong. Look at those cool ice formations right there. That's awesome. Nice little waterfall up there. About 11 miles in for the day. 2,100 in elevation, I think. I've been somewhat cruisy for the most part. But my hip has been bothering me, my left hip. And when I had my density test last year for osteoporosis, or when that was diagnosed, and we did a density test to diagnose the osteoporosis from the fractured spine, my left hip actually had more bone loss than the rest of the parts of my body. So anytime my hip starts to bother me, I get a little more cautious, trying to figure out why it's bothering me, making sure it's not a bad thing, it's just a minor, like a pain, not an injury. Especially since my mom and my grandmother both, on my mom's side, had hip replacements. Both hip replacements, I think, for both of them. As far as I know, they didn't know that they had osteoporosis, or if they did, it was never mentioned. Just the hips went bad at some point. But I always try to, and here's a fun fact for you. 80% of the people diagnosed with osteoporosis are women. 20% are men. That just goes to show that percentages don't mean crap. Kind of like yesterday, 20% chance of snow. Well, it snowed all day long, so that's 100%. Obviously, I have osteoporosis, so I'm 1 in the 20%. You just never know. It's for many different reasons that it happens. Mine is probably stems to the digestive issues I've had and the medicine that I've had to take. And it's basically stealing calcium from my body at the end of the day. So, make a long story short, try to at least, I had that sore hip, and I thought, I didn't stretch last night. I always stretch at the end of the day. Obviously, after doing many, many miles, you want to stretch to keep all of the muscles better preparation for not getting injured and healing overnight while you sleep. So I didn't do that last night because it was such a long day. So I did that, took a couple vitamin I, which is ibuprofen. That's Thru-Hiker and backpacker lingo, I guess. So I took a couple of those, and I'm feeling great now. So whatever that was, I think it was just some soreness that needed to be stretched out. And vitamin I probably did not hurt it. But everything's good now. Continuing on. As you can see, the terrain behind me probably keeps changing. I don't know if you can see that in the camera, but it goes snow, then not snow, then back to snow on the trail. It's not much snow. This is like here's a little slippery. But it's always on like the north side of the mountains. They have the snow, and then the south sides don't have the snow because they get more sunlight. A lot of it's melting off today, though. But anyway, going to continue on. And you're coming with me about 8 or 9 more miles today, unless I change my mind, decide to do more, or decide to do less. But probably 8 or 9 miles. And calling it a day today. Cooking and setting up camp. But I'll be showing you more of the trail on the way, because you're here in spirit, walking right along with me. All right, let's do it. Well, this doesn't happen very often. A bench in the middle of the trail with this view. That, my friends, is part of the Roan Highlands that I came down yesterday. Beautiful, beautiful view right here. So this is Upper Laurel Fork. Goes down to more of a cascade. I believe they all connect on down the trail. There's more of a cascading stream or river. You could definitely hear it downstream. But this is the trail. I just went over that bridge and it's going this way. And where I was going to go was a couple miles up. Wasn't sure what the trail would look like, if it was part that was covered in snow or if it was part that wasn't covered in snow. And I'm coming over here, and right here's the trail, and for some reason I just looked over here, and look at that. How could I even say no? perfect flat spot for my tent. Cook some dinner. The water's right there. So you can hear the cascading part over there in the distance. I'll cross that in like half a mile or a mile or something. But I'll do that in the morning because I'm going to stay right here for camp tonight. Perfect spot for a tent. So going to set up, cook some dinner. I think chili mac is for tonight. Everybody have a great night. See you in the morning.